Hello everyone. Let's continue the session Economic Development Planning. Today is the session 3. Okay, today we're going to discuss about subnational planning, which is refers to the preparation and implementation of economic development plans at regional and local levels rather than only at the national level. It involves planning at the provincial, district, and village level to ensure that development initiatives address the unique needs and priorities of each area. By integrating local development plans into the national development framework, governments can achieve more balanced, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth. For example, let's say a coastal district may prioritize fisheries and tourism development, while a dry zone village may focus on irrigation and agricultural productivity. These local priorities are incorporated into district and provincial plans, which then contribute to the country's overall national development strategy. So, effective subnational planning requires translating national development goals into actions at the divisional and village levels, identifying local government needs through community participation, and preparing regional plans that align with the national development plan. This bottom-up approach ensures that development is both people-centered and responsive to local conditions. Okay, now let's see how the integrated development programs and what is it. So that are designed to address multiple aspects of rural development through a coordinated and holistic approach. Rather than implementing isolated projects, integrated development programs combine efforts across sectors such as agriculture, education, healthcare, infrastructure, employment, and environmental conservation. The main goal is to improve the overall quality of life in rural communities while ensuring that development is sustainable and inclusive. So let's see the main objectives. One is poverty alleviation in rural areas. So by creating income generating opportunities, improving access to services, and enhancing livelihood, it can be done. And coordinating interconnected projects so that investments in roads, irrigation, healthcare, education, and agriculture support one another instead of operating independently. And encouraging community participation, it ensuring that local people are actively involved in identifying priorities, planning projects, and monitoring implementation. Then identifying the local needs and problems through consultations with village communities, allowing development programs to reflect real challenges rather than assumptions. Then addressing complex rural issues with an integrated approach, recognizing that problems such as poverty, unemployment, poor education, and inadequate infrastructure are interrelated and require coordinated solutions. For example, if a village depends mainly on agriculture, an integrated development program would not only provide farmers with training and improved seeds, but also improve irrigation systems, build access roads to markets, establish storage facilities, provide financial support through microcredit, and offer vocational training for youth. Together, these interventions create a stronger and more sustainable rural economy than any single project could achieve. So, integrated development programs promote sustainable rural development by bringing together different sectors involving local communities in decision making and addressing the root causes of rural poverty through coordinated planning and implementation. So let's see how integrated development programs are financed and implemented. Successful development initiatives require not only proper planning but also adequate financial resources and effective implementation mechanism. Funding generally comes from the national government and international development partners, while implementation is carried out through area-based and target group-based approaches to ensure that resources reach those who need them most. So there are two main sources. Development programs get finance through general treasury. The government allocates funds through the national budget to finance rural development, infrastructure, social services, and poverty reduction initiatives. And the second, foreign aid. Additional financial support is received from international governments and development organizations to supplement domestic resources and implement large-scale development projects. And there are two mechanisms for foreign assistance is generally provided. One is bilateral assistance and multilateral assistance. Bilateral assistance, financial or technical support provided directly from one country to another. We can take as example Japan funding rural road development projects in Sri Lanka. And then the multilateral assistance, funding provided through international organizations that consist of multiple member countries. Example, the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, or United Nations agencies supporting education, healthcare, or infrastructure projects. Program implementation approaches. Development programs can be implemented in two main ways. One is area-based approach, then the target group approach. Area-based prosperity approach focus on developing an entire geographical area or village by improving infrastructure, livelihood, education, healthcare, and other services simultaneously. Target group approach focuses on specific groups such as low-income families, women entrepreneurs, youth, farmers, or persons with disabilities, ensuring that assistance reaches those with the greatest need. For example, the government may allocate treasury funds to improve village roads, while the Asian Development Bank finance irrigation projects. At the same time, a village development program may improve the entire community through infrastructure development, while a separate initiative provides entrepreneurship training and financial assistance specifically for rural women and young entrepreneurs. So therefore, The effective rural development depends on adequate financial resources, strong partnership with international donors, and implementation strategies that address both the needs of entire communities and the specific needs of vulnerable groups. Combining these approaches helps maximize the impact of development programs and promotes inclusive and sustainable growth. Thank you very much, and let's meet again for the next session.